Warning. This podcast contains explicit sexual language and should only be listened to at work if you're looking for an excuse to connect with your HR representative. Additionally, all mentions of the word women include cis and trans women. If you are genderqueer, gender fluid, figuring it out, anything in between, and feel like this conversation is also important for you, you are welcome here.
Will you open up with me? These pages, they can feed your innermost desires. Do you feel inspired? Are you getting what you need? Are you coming curiously? A secret safe with me. And here you can simply be yourself. Sweet romance. Come on in, come on in, come on.
Hi, y'all. This is Jace, she, they, and you found Jace Reads Romance, a community dedicated to empowering women about sex and sexuality through the reading of romance novels. But I don't want to talk about women today. I know that y'all understand that I give Steffi absolutely no
heads up.
No clue
Nope.
as to what's about to happen. So usually the first line after the intro is, how bad can I shock Steffi?
It's true. It's very true.
I have mentioned this before. Like, Steffi and I are a terrible example of how one treats a partner in scene or during play. Like,
Absolutely.
Do not take our relationship for like a healthy, we're not in a kink relationship. I should also clarify that.
No.
But like, we're a bad example of it.
Very, very bad. Don't do as we say, not as we do. That's
like, this is look, if you want to start a podcast and absolutely traumatize your producer as I do, that is totally fine. Do that. But if you are looking at our dynamic as two people who are like kinky and talk about kink and kink dynamics, we are not a kink dynamic, and therefore do not use us as your how-to guide.
Please don't.
We are not.
No.
We're not. Okay. But here's a topic that I have thought about. I feel like I keep telling Steffi about the discoveries I make in social media world. I am very picky with social media. Like, very picky. I would actually go on to say I'm bad at it. I miss a lot of trends because I curate very intentionally. And so unless one of the people that I truly want to engage with are doing whatever trend it is, I will not see it. And I might even see it and not know it's a trend. So I miss a lot of things in social media. But one of the things that I've been discovering is like positive male influences on the internet. And I take a lot of them with a grain of salt because, like, you never know what's going to come out of someone's closet. But at the very least, I am enjoying the messages that I'm seeing from these humans. And it's men and women. Let me rephrase. The content that I've been seeing and engaging with is anti-red pill bullshit. Like red pill bullshit. Like anti-red pill bullshit.
Yes.
Two separate things.
Yes.
So I'm seeing men also combat these ideologies and talk about, why they're dumb and wrong and hurtful, both to men and women. One of the reasons that I have Jace Reads Romance is that I believe exposure and education is the way that we combat most things in life. And most things in life, most things that we're afraid in, most things that we don't know how to deal with, most things that shock us are because we have a lack of exposure. And the more that we expose ourselves to things in the world, the more well-rounded, the more understanding, the more overall intelligence and comprehension that we have about things. And because there's so much misinformation about sex and sexuality, and because most of the information about sex and sexuality in the general world comes from men, it's wrong. Like, it's just wrong. It's wrong when it comes to women. And so if we're looking for not accurate, because romance novels are novels, they are fantasy in and of themselves. That's the thing about it. But if we're looking for accurate perspective, anatomy, like desires for women, you gotta turn to women. You can't get the dumbest. What women want was a dumb movie with a problematic lead. Let's just put that out there.
Yep.
However, what that movie did say is you learn what women want by listening to women.
Shocker.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You would think that that was some like mind-blowingly amazing concept, the way that some men treat it.
Well, if it comes from women, it's not real, because women are dumb and don't know things and do not deserve to be listened to, which really, just really. I think some of the most shocking thing for me in getting a lot of this content is I had never heard of Red Pill before this. I'm kind of sad that I know it exists. Like, and I feel very lucky in my life that I don't know humans in real life, or I don't continue to engage in humans in real life that have this way of thinking. And therefore I had to look it up.
Really?
Like, I kind of understood the concept based on like what people were saying, but I did have to look it up to be like, I'm sorry, I feel like this is crazy enough thinking. Like, is this really what you think? This is real? You're using a Matrix reference? The Matrix, that is a story and trilogy created by two trans women about like identity?
Right. Like, come on.
But it's like, but this is the thing of like, okay, so you've taken this idea from the Matrix. You've totally missed the core concept of the movie. It's like the Proud Boys taking that title, that name, from fucking Disney's Aladdin, the live musical.
I know.
A story about a brown boy who falls in love with the brown girl, and like, are you out of your goddamn mind?
Yes.
You missed the core concept.
That's the point.
Like,
unfortunately.
There are moments when I don't think I'm the smartest person in the room, and I don't think I'm the smartest person in the room, but I feel like after having witnessed, reactions enough to this kind of, and like the fight against this kind of content and this kind of thinking, then I gotta be in like the top 80%. Like I've gotta be like 80th percentile and above. I gotta be there. Like, it's not because of my actual education. It's not because of anything. It's just like I clearly have some understanding and like cognitive skills that you're lacking. But back to the topic of, should men read romance? And I think about this. The answer, sadly, is twofold. There's my rational answer, and then there's my emotional answer. Now, my rational answer is, it depends. Are you able to engage with this content as it's intended? Then yes. And then there's my emotional response, which is, stay the fuck out of my romance novels. Because I choose the bear. Like I'd rather give them to the bear.
First off, so proud of you for referencing a trend. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Secondly, I don't know if I agree with that statement.
Tell me more.
I think that it depends. Absolutely. If they can consciously and coherently interact with the content, awesome.
Mhm.
Like make it
Yes.
very be smart about it. But I wouldn't say necessarily a hard no in the emotional side. Because I think
Okay.
that romance novels can give a lot of insight into how women are, interacting with the romance space, and like how their own sexual lives and ideas are growing and expanding. And I think it
Yeah.
might not hurt for men to be aware of it at the very least. So I don't think it's a hard
Yeah.
no for me on that end.
So realistically, it's not a hard no. I am, as much as I am an emotional person, like I give a lot more credit to humans than I sadly believe a lot of people do. I think my wish in life is that men could read romance novels along with us
Yeah.
because of the exposure that I'm talking about. I don't need to
Yeah.
read a romance novel written by a straight dude about a straight couple to understand what men want in romance and sex
Right.
and sexuality. That narrative is so prevalent everywhere in
Yeah.
every other media that I don't need to search it out. I have
Yeah.
an understanding of it to my core because everything other than romance novels written for women by women is that narrative. I
Yeah.
understand it. It's why I feel like when a person of color writes a white character,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. Go ahead because you do no damage to that group of humans. And in fact, because their culture is so overbearing on everything in the Western world as we know it right now, you're probably doing it justice. Like, and no one's
Yeah.
going to take your writing of this one white character as like the be all end all of white characters.
Right.
But we have to remember that women, even though we are not necessarily a minority in the world, are a minority when it comes to our stories being told accurately and by ourselves. We should get
Yeah.
to tell our own stories.
I agree with that.
And
Absolutely.
yes, and I think partially because I'm witnessing this, like this taking of what we have in the fantasy land of romance novels
Mm-hmm.
and seeing it perverted by some of
Mm.
this bullshit thinking of like girls only want the 666, they want 6 foot tall, six figures and 6 inches. And I'm like, number one, 6 inches in a romance novel is nothing.
Yeah.
um
Right.
but like even the most green flaggy-ish of men in romance novels, I'm not thinking to myself when I read it, well, that or bust.
Right.
It's a fantasy. And we talked about our physical
Exactly.
preferences the other week.
Yeah.
Um, I cannot tell you the last time I pursued someone who met those physical attributes that I talked
Right.
about. Like the last time that I don't even know if I found someone ever who had all of them, like a 6'2" blonde, blue-eyed bear. Like that, I don't think I've ever found one of those. And
No.
and that's fine. Like I'm not holding out for it. I date the people that I'm attracted to. This is another reason why, like, look, friends, I know online dating is great. It's all the rage. It's just wonderful. But I cannot. I just can't.
Right.
I cannot get behind it. And it's because Nick Offerman did a really great little stand-up bit about like taking your physical body and being in a place with another physical body and just being like,
Yeah.
do you smell good? On like an unconscious level.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's something really magical about like seeing someone from across the room and being like, I don't know what it is about you, but I want you. Whether or not anything happens, like there's
Yeah.
something really nice about it.
There is. Unfortunately, in this day and age, it rarely happens anymore. Like even the circumstances to get to that point.
I can't imagine that COVID helped anything with
Oh no,
people
not at
being
all.
willing to be in other human spaces, but it's just so odd. But like this is this weird message that has been given to men that women only want X. And no. Like are there women that are like waiting for their own Zayd Meadows? Why? He's terrible. He's atrocious. He's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would wait for him. But like if that's who you're waiting for, like hats off to you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Best of luck. Godspeed. You will be brought up on public indecency charges, I'm sure. So like
Hey, you're not
sorry?
wrong.
Yeah. So are there people for whom it's X, Y, and Z or nothing? Sure. But that's not the norm.
No.
At
it's
all.
Not.
And so I fear that giving, when we talked about taking scenes from the page into real life, and you can't just give a partner a scene necessarily because they don't understand the backstory. They don't understand all the emotional labor that went into it. I kind of feel like men are like that. I mean, as a society, not as individual men. Individual men are wonderful. They are. I've met I've met many wonderful, deserving men. But as a society, I don't feel like they have the emotional capacity to understand what we see in a romance novel.
I can see that.
And yeah, and that's why, like, because I find them so precious and so sacred, and it's a space that I have so much passion about, I'm like, I don't want your hands in it. I don't want society, men as a society, in my romance novels until you can prove to me that you deserve it.
Okay.
That's my emotional response. Now, as a logical human being, I believe that exposing men to what women fantasize about, or like if we could have anything in the world, what would we create in our fantasies is very powerful. And I think could be very impactful to individual men to help them with exposure to this thing that, number one, isn't inherent. Like, I know what society tells me men want, but I don't know what an individual man wants. I have that narrative that the patriarchy tells me about men too in my brain. But because so few women's stories are shared, romance novels become even more impactful, I believe. So do I think that individual men should, like, no men ever should touch a romance novel? Absolutely not. I think it's a great idea. I think it's wonderful if what you're looking for is connection, understanding, and to broaden your horizons, as they were.
Yeah.
When it comes to women. Did that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It did to me.
Thank you.
Now, here's the flip side.
Tell me. I want it.
I was just going to say that there will be men out there who will use it for nefarious means.
Did I not already mention the bear?
Yes, you did.
I don't think men as a society yet are ready for it.
Okay.
Because men as a society are still trapped under their own pressures from the patriarchy, the expectations that have been put upon them.
Okay.
And until they are ready as a society, not individual men, but like the way that we do this is one man at a time. So like maybe, hey, if you got a good one, but like maybe they just need a little more exposure to, you know, how women think.
Yeah.
Give them a novel.
Yeah.
But as a society, I don't think the men of America are ready for something even like Collide, which is a
Ooh.
college hockey romance where
Yeah.
he treats her right. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think they're ready for it because they will
Yeah.
see things in there that challenge what the patriarchy has told them, make them worthy partners to women. It doesn't gamify dating or sex. So there is no, you know, cheat code or correct buttons to hit, because so many of the ideals and behaviors in romance are in direct opposition to what the patriarchy tells men women want, or how to get a woman, or how to satisfy a woman, or how to be a partner to a woman. And until individual men or men as a whole are ready and able to let go of those, they won't take romance novels seriously. They won't believe that this is really what women want. As weird as it is, because women are half the population. A little bit more.
Like
I 50, a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think that romance novels should still be protected as cultural, as a cultural touchstone. You know, something made for, you know, like there are movies and there are books and it's like, y'all, this was not made for me. This was made for a different culture, a different religion, a different time, whatever. And I think that, and there's no shame in that, making something that is for an intended group of humans. That's art. It's art.
It's art.
Do it.
Exactly.
It's art. And the romance novels are intended for women. And so they do not have to be accessible or acceptable to men.
Okay.
And at the core of what romance written for women by women should be is, I don't fucking care if a man gets it. The same way that when someone writes an like if a queer man writes an story, he is not caring if women get it or if straight dudes get it. Because who's he writing that story for? Dudes who like touching butts, to quote Adib Karam.
Yes. Yes. That is exactly correct. And
so if I read a story, and it's the same, like this is part of the reason why I read diversely within romance. If I read a story and I'm like the dumb example that I give, it's probably not dumb, but it felt dumb to me. I had never heard the term to nut until I read it in a romance novel. And I was like, I mean, I understand what this is from the situation. But I had never heard it in that term. I had never thought about it. I did not realize that that was a verb one could use in that way.
And I'm just over here like, a friend of mine on Threads used the term post-nut clarity today, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's all that's in my head. Right now.
Postnuclear, like there's the afterglow, like, and there are so many other ways that you use it, and there's
Yep.
so many colloquialisms, and there's so
Mhm.
many, you know, ways that we use language that are defined by our culture or not, or, you know, words that have different meanings depending on your culture and how they're used and who they're used by. And that's why I really try and read as diversely as possible within romance, because I want to understand all of humanity as the best that I can.
Yeah.
Except straight cis white men, because fuck you, I already get it. I'm living in your world. I don't
Right.
need to understand your perspective.
Exactly. We have your perspective 100% of the time,
I
unfortunately.
have been raised in your perspective 100% of the time. And I carry that trauma, and I carry those. And yeah, am I unfair to some cishet white men? Because I'm not even going to say the phrase that might come out of one's mouth at that point.
Mhm.
Sure, maybe, but you're an individual. And I'm
Mhm.
talking about a systemic problem.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, is my greatest hope in the world that men in the future, systemically, are able to read romance novels with the understanding that they are fantasy, that they are performative, that they, like porn, are not intended to be taken literally, and that
Yeah.
they are, that the wants and needs of women are vastly different based on, you know, what thing you're reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that it is my greatest hope that one day men are able to engage in a rational, like, excited dialogue about
Yeah.
what romance novels represent for men, because that's powerful in so many ways. In so many ways, and they are deserving of, I mean, I hope they understand their partners in the way that all of this fucking works. And it, especially with like how horrible men are, it can feel like, well, why aren't we educating them? Why aren't we helping them? Why aren't we, you know, they're the ones in power. Why aren't we changing their minds? I don't have that kind of fucking bandwidth.
Well, not
I
only
want,
that, not only
yeah.
that, you literally said it. They're the ones in power.
Mm-hmm.
They won't listen.
They don't care.
No.
They don't care. But what women can do is educate ourselves and arm ourselves as individuals.
Yeah.
Because like I said, systemically, like I cannot, this podcast, and I think just in general, like we cannot take on systemic
Oh, no.
at once. But what you can do is enlighten a partner or a friend or a family member. And you can take all that you learn and all that grounded knowledge, experience, understanding, rational thought.
Mm.
And if they are receptive and worthwhile, because there are some people where I'm like, I don't know, even if you did see the light, would I want you here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you worth saving? I don't know. Like, if they're worth
No.
saving,
Yeah.
they're the people that you get to talk to. They're the singular men folk that
Mm-hmm.
are worthy of your time and your effort. Not because you need to, not because they deserve it, not because you need to, because if he's broke, you can fix him. Fuck that.
Fuck that. No.
Fuck that. But because you are armed with knowledge and a little bit of righteous indignation,
Mm-hmm.
and let them into the sanctum sanctorum, enlighten them into what we know as truth, expose them to women of intelligence and rational thought and capability who can express themselves and be heard, So it's interesting because there have been so many just like men creators and content people and stuff like that, not infiltrating the romance space because I think genuinely they enjoy it, but like discovering it in some way, shape, or form. And I'm like,
Yeah.
are those people I want to engage with? And for me personally, I'm like, I'll watch her content, but like if I'm going to have a conversation with someone, I still want it to be a woman. I'm still focused on women. Like that's the goal of this community is to empower women about sex and sexuality through the reading of romance novels. Not because men are not worthy of sexual empowerment and fighting the patriarchy and releasing those absolutely harmful beliefs that have been taught to them, but because I care more about women.
I was going to say, because women have been held down harder and more in totality than men have because of those same restrictions.
That is such a great way to say it. I'm going to say it because personally to me, I was like, you haven't proved to me that you deserve it. Like when what society and what you believe and what you've internalized is men's oppression of women, is men's power over women, is men's abuse of women, I don't want you to gain more of it. Unless your enlightenment is able to throw those off, I will not hand you the keys to understanding women because I believe in my heart of hearts that you will use them to harm. Because that's what you've been taught. It's not fair. It's not right.
Yeah.
But there is a reason why women over and over keep choosing the bear.
The bear. Yeah. Just to mention, we're recording this in April, and April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. It's too prevalent, and I feel will continue to be too prevalent of an issue where it is men hurting women. I'm not saying that women hurting men does not exist. It absolutely 100%
absolutely does. People hurting people exist.
People hurting people. The patriarchy has made it so easy, so much easier for men to hold that power over women.
Yeah.
That handing them that power would be detrimental to our future health as a society as women.
Yes.
I agree with that idea.
Right? There was one video that I saw, and I don't think I'll ever find it, but I can link the person who I saw it from in the show notes. But he was speaking about how he was going to the grocery store and there was a group of older women, probably like 50s, 60s, bunch of them. And as he was walking in, one of them, he's like tall and like a bigger man. And she was like, look at you, you're so cute, you're so tall, like I love your beard, and made just like a lot of compliments about his physical appearance. And, he went about his day and whatever. And he's like, look, I was able to take that interaction as just a wonderful part of my day because I don't live in fear of women. And if a woman is, complimented outside of a grocery store by a group of older men, you don't know if you're safe. You don't know if they're going to expect something from you. You don't know if they're going to follow you to your car. You don't know if they're going to start taking it more. And he's like, there is a double standard of, men complimenting, like men aren't going to complicate women. And it's because men have created an environment where women are unsafe. Yeah. So for him, as a man, he was able to just be like, someone complimented me on my height and I feel good about myself. And it is not the same for women. And it's because of everything that goes along with the compliment. It's not the compliment. It's not that you said, right, like beautiful smile or your hair looks great or I like your top. It's because society has shown women that men are not to be trusted. And it's not just like women are telling women. It's like you're like everyone's raised with men being like, don't, you know what men think? Men only want one thing. You better not,
Exactly.
like, you better watch out. I'm going to protect my little girl from sex-crazed teenagers.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first date, the kid shows up, I'm going to have a gun ready just in case. Like, don't.
I want to physically intimidate the 13-year-old taking my daughter on a date. I'm like, your masculinity is in question for so many reasons due to that sentence.
Right. And unfortunately, it's perpetuated from generation to generation to generation.
And romance novels are a safe space for women.
Yes.
And I, as a society, I do not believe that men deserve into our safe space yet. So if you find a deserving one, hopefully someday, it is my greatest hope that within my lifetime, this happens. If you have an individual man who is deserving of reading your favorite romance novel, who wants to do it with you, I know Sabrina Burns, who was on the podcast back in the fall when her book came out, she has a brother who reads romance, and like clearly, like that is a man deserving of romance novels because he sees them for what they are and how they interact and like as they are intended, and hopefully uses them for good and not evil. But like, but that is one individual man.
Right.
That is not men as a society.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I worry about that. Like, it's like how men are like, well, I want into your women only gym. Ooh, honey. No. Don't, like, it's discriminatory that there are women only spaces. Oh, it's a huge thing. It's a huge fucking thing. Yeah. You want to know what? It's because you being in my space makes it unsafe for me.
Exactly.
Me entering your space does not make it unsafe for you. You entering my space makes it unsafe for me.
100%.
It's not the same.
No.
Not the same. So in the meantime, if you ever wonder, like, why I don't talk about men or have men on the podcast, like maybe one day I'll like get the ones that I find worthy of entering my like sacred space and I'll have them on here. But in the meantime, I'm just going to let this space be for women, by women. Remember, women here at Jace Reads Romance, cis, trans, anyone who wants to use a she, her in their pronouns, or just feels like I need to be part of this conversation. I'm not calling you a woman if that's not what you say, but you are welcome in this space. This is our sacred space. This is our special space. I want to read books that celebrate you. I want to read books that support you. I want to read books that help you get off at night with whatever kind of toy you need, in whatever way you need it.
Yes.
From clit to cervix.
Yes.
That's a great fucking tagline.
That is a great fucking tagline. Can we save that for like merch?
Maybe. I'm going to write that on a Post-it note. All right. That is the end of this conversation. I hope that you got something out of it. I hope it gives you an understanding of like why I am very picky about who's in my space at this moment. And I also hope it gives you permission to keep this space for you. If you have someone who's trying to push into it, who's making fun of the romance, who's like, well, isn't it only X, Y, and Z? You know what I'm talking about? Actually, I can fucking say it. This isn't social media. If someone's coming at you, a male person in your life, and they're like, romance is porn, prove it, let me read it. Don't let them read it. Don't let them read it. Ask them if you can see their porn search history. All right, sir. Tell me, what are you searching for specifically?
Yeah.
What are you interested in? Is that something you want me to do? Because I got to tell you, my hips do not move that way. I do not like it. I do not like X, Y, and Z when someone's fucking me. You know that. I've told you, we've talked about it. We have a healthy relationship. You watch it because it's a fantasy. I don't know. I love it when dudes are like, women only want super fit, ripped dudes with massive penises. I'm like, have you seen porn for men?
Right?
Those are the only people in porn for men. Like, do you have something we need to talk about? Are you envisioning, or are you trying to be like, yeah, that could be me? I'm like, dude, you're 5'6". Like, there's nothing wrong with being 5'6".
Right.
But if you are 5'6", you're pretending you're 6'2"? Like, if you're in a point of view porno, you're like, yeah, that's definitely my dick in her. Really? Are we sure? That's my washboard stomach. I'm tatted up. You're an accountant. For real. Like, no. Like what I did there?
I did. Very good.
All right, we got to end this. But
I know.
thank you all for joining me in this conversation. It's something that's been really causing me to ponder and then come to the conclusion of why I've made the decision. It's actually really grounded me in my decision. I'm like, yeah, I made the right one. That's why I did it. And that's the thing, like rational humans, we think about things. Are the choices that we're making still the right, valid, best choices? And then, one day it might not be the right choice and I'll adjust. But for right now, in April of 2025, stay the fuck out of my space. Bye.
Bye.
Jace Reads Romance is a 3 Paws Productions podcast. Produced by Seffi, edited by Michael Achenbach. Our theme song is written and performed by Diana Weishauer. For show notes and more, head to www.jacereadsromance.com. That's JAYCE Reads Romance. Follow us on socials at Jace Reads Romance everywhere. For more exclusive content, visit us on Substack, where you'll find extended episodes, bonus episodes, and more. Have a question, story, or a book recommendation you know I'll love? Email Jace at jacereadsromance.com or call and leave a voicemail at 661-JACE-RR. That's 661-529-2377. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. And as always, this is Jace, holding space for you.